Anyone who has lived in Europe, as I have, especially in any one of the 3 Latin countries, France, Italy, or Spain, has definitely spent time in bistros, cafes, and bars. Sometimes it's just a neighborhood joint that you frequent, and other times it may be a new place where you meet with some friends. Coffee, and possibly a side of calva, is an integral part of life in Paris. I can't begin to count the number of cafes, bars, etc. that I frequented during my many years in Paris, and in a few small towns in Burgundy. The one thing that impressed me was the quality of the coffee, the espressos, and the cremes. You could, if you wanted to, order what is called a Café American, which, in essence, was a watered-down version of the normal caffeine. The hundreds of cups I swallowed were served in hundreds of unpretentious bars and bistros. No fancy names, no baristas, no ventis, no grandes, no soya mocha lattes, no no-cal, low-cal, anything. Just plain, normal, great coffee, usually of the 100% Arabica variety. Well, then I returned to California, where something called Starbucks and their mysterious green-circled logos began popping up all over the pastel-colored face of Los Angeles, like some out-of-control case of acne. What was this place with some strange woman as its figurehead? Well, my curiosity got the better of me, and like a cat ready to be killed, I ventured into this mysterious place in Beverly Hills. 2 mistakes. Firstly, I fucking hate Beverly Hills. And secondly, well, I'm about to tell you about it. So, I wander in sometime in the late morning in need of coffee. Just a coffee. I'm immediately taken aback by the laptop versus human being ratio. Wow. Steve Jobs' progeny was well represented in the trendoid decor. I also noticed people deeply ensconced in the few plushy club chairs in some corners. They looked like they had no intention of leaving those chairs anytime soon. Were they homeless? Others sat staring lovingly at their cell phones, cradling them in their hands, waiting for the personal validation that would come the instant that their fashion accessory would chime, bleep, blip, or play snippets of some auto-tuned piece of shit called music. Don't these people have pockets or messenger bags or purses, for Christ's sakes, where they can hide these devices? Does the phrase "get a life" mean anything here? I saw 2 people, a man and a woman, sitting face to face at a small table. Both their heads were down. They were transfixed and hypnotized by their BlackBerries. Not a word uttered, not a stare shared between the 2 of them. The beginnings of a wonderful, well-deserved, and deep relationship, I am sure. Does the phrase human connection mean anything to the 2 of you? Well, minutes passed, and then I realized that I might be a tad impolite staring at these numb humanoids. Then I realized everyone was too busy to even notice what I'm sure was my gaping mouth stare. My trance was broken by a woman who boldly approached a male and his MacBook Pro. He feigned surprise as she stood before his club chair. Surprised? Bullshit. I could almost hear him screaming, "Somebody notice me, please, someone, anyone." Well, there she was. First words out of her mouth, "Is that a new MacBook Pro?" Wow, a match made in heaven. A great and profound love story in the making. Lucky guy. Blessed woman. I silently wished both of them, their cell phones, their BlackBerries, and especially their new Macs, much happiness and enlightenment. I felt all warm and fuzzy, bearing witness to this moving and momentous union. Imagine the memories they'll share, Wow, eHarmony, caffeine, Starbucks, and technology all in one fell swoop. Ha, doesn't get much better than this. Shit, I forgot, I need a coffee. So I approached one of these mysterious masters called barista. Barista. Another customer was ahead of me, so my eyes wandered during the interim. Wow, huddled in the corner, I noticed a familiar face. His head was down. He was in the company of a woman who looked like someone of the agent or manager ilk. What astonished me was that nobody noticed him. Preoccupation with texting, selling, and laptoping will do that. No wonder there's so many fucking car accidents. Anyways, I certainly did notice him. Man, does Tom Cruise ever have a huge head or what, I thought. Seriously, it's enormous in relation to his body mass. I could tell even though he was sitting that he had a huge head. Can I help you, sir? I turned to make eye contact with the perky counter girl. Oh yeah, coffee. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. I'd like a black, medium-sized coffee, please. Blank, momentary stare at me. No latte, sir? No thank you. No flavored syrup? Not really, no thanks. Sir, did you say venti or grande? I said neither of those two. I said a medium coffee, please. Is that a problem? Oh, of course not, sir. Would you like a breakfast blend, a Nigerian, or a Seattle Reserve Cellars Limited Edition Golden Portfolio blend? None of the above. Just give me the strongest, blackest coffee you have. From behind me, I suddenly heard the entire room rise to an audible whisper. As I turned, Tom Cruise, his enormous head, and his agent were leaving the building. Here you go, sir. Would you like a scone or sandwich? No thank you. So I paid my $2. The glass tip jar, like some giant cyclops eye, was staring at me. Okay, I get it. Your fabulous barista style of customer service warrants the additional $1. So I satiated the glass globe with a crumpled dollar snack. I saw an imaginary tongue slurp its clear glass lips. Cyber love surrounded me as I headed for the door. The cool late morning air of Beverly Hills sent a slight chill through me. I needed a hot caffeine hit to warm me up. What the fuck? This tastes like shit. Much ado about nothing. So I returned to the counter with my cup full of the false promise of coffee. Excuse me, there's something really wrong with your coffee, I uttered to the perky counter gidget. What seems to be the problem, sir? Well, for starters, it tastes a little weak, and to be honest, it's rather poor. Is it a new batch? Yes, sir, freshly brewed. Yeah, if you like cat piss, I thought to myself. Would you like another cup, sir? I think so, I rattled back. Here you go, sir, she chirped. Disappointment and frustration soaked my palate once again. Is that better? She asked, bubbling with perkiness. Oh yeah, that's just fabulous, I smiled back at her. I calmly walked past the surrounding cyber somnambulant towards the closest garbage receptacle. I said somnambulant. What a great word, somnambulant. So I'm at the garbage receptacle. I poured the cup of letdown into the twisted mosaic of cups, uneaten leftovers, paper plates, napkins, and condiments. I slid back out into the cool Gucci Cartier tainted air. I reflected for a nanosecond on the truism that one man's garbage is definitely another man's feast, or something like that. I reflected on my years in Paris, my experiences with wine and coffee. I knew that I wasn't one of those snobs who spoke of bouquets and finishes and all that other crap I never understood. I just knew that for me, if a wine or coffee was delicious, that's all that mattered. This certainly wasn't one of these occasions. Not much better than a typical diner coffee. This crap could be put to shame by any of those hundreds of unassuming cafes or bistros that serve coffee in Paris, without all of the fucking syrups, the venti, the grande, the barista bullshit. Thank you. Then I thought about the arrogance of the owner of Starbucks. I think Schultz is his name, who has the audacity to spread his message of caffeine mediocrity to Paris and Rome. I don't begrudge his success. It's the epitome of American entrepreneurial spirit. It's what the real America was once all about. So was the pet rock. So here's a man who spent a fortune on his goddamn walk-in closet in his sprawling Seattle mansion, or wherever it is. Do I want to support that lifestyle? Not me. His outlets in those cities are mere novelties. If that's what his goal is, well, mission accomplished. Being that the overall bar of society has been lowered, I guess there's room for more mediocrity. The entities, Starbucks, the arts, government, human reaction, and interaction have all been compromised. We are willing to accept second best, or even worse. We live in a room full of shit and don't even notice it anymore. It's become the norm. What the fuck? I'll tell you what the fuck. Wake up and smell the coffee. And by the way, the Emperor is naked. Peace for 2010 and beyond. I'll get better, I promise.